Hey guys, it's Cam. I'm a 8-figure investor and trader who retired at 35 with complete financial freedom and the ability to support my family of 7. Now I'm helping other investors and traders who are struggling on their path, who are struggling trying to escape the rat race just like I did, and looking to find their path to financial freedom. Today in this video, I'm going to go through an update of a recent Tesla position I took. I'll link to the video up here where I posted this trade just after I took it, so you could follow it live and see how it unfolds and how I manage it. So let's get right into it. I originally started taking a position in Tesla on 4 August, based on it fitting 3 of my 5 criteria for my strategy. And then on 8 August, when it closed above the 200-day moving average, I added to a full-size position. Okay. Since then, it's been a couple of weeks. Price moved up, but then has slowly moved back down, closed below the 200-day moving average last week. Okay. And came back down. And for a little while, I was actually in the red. For a little while in this trade, I was actually in the red. But as of Friday, 22 August, this is how things stand. My average share position is $318, about 318.1. Closing price was 340, so they're up about 7%. My leaps, I have January 340s. I bought them at about 43.8, my average, and they're sitting at 46.9. So again, about a 7% gain, and that's the overall gain on the trade so far. This is about a 10% weight for my portfolio. So how did I manage this trade? When I initially took the entry here, my stop loss was this 294 area. Although price did come back, it never really tested it. So it wasn't any worry, but I can walk you through my thinking here and what would have had to happen for me to exit the trade. So for me, a stop loss, if I'm using 294, what I have to see there is price needs to close below that level. And I use the absolute low price of that day as my stop. So essentially the way this functions right now, it's a soft stop. And then once price crosses below it, a hard stop gets triggered. And that's what I use to exit the trade. My first profit target for the trade is about the 357 area. I'll sell a little bit there. I think I have it programmed to start selling at at 357. I'm looking over here on the order book. And then again at 369, I'll look to sell about 10% here and about 10% there, and then hold for a little bit larger move. Okay, so that's how the trade stands to this point. On a 10% risk, I'm up about 7% as it stands right now. Okay, the other major profit targets I would have would be about the 420, 440, and then all-time high levels. And again, with my system, I'm looking to leave a quarter of shares and call options as long as possible in case this does make a very large outsized move. Now, if you want to get real-time updates on this Tesla trade and others that I take, access to daily live streams at Market Open where I trade live, manage positions, look for entry and new potential setups, do technical analysis, education and training sessions with my private Discord group, then check the link in the description below and sign up. We're an inclusive and supportive trading community dedicated to helping each other become the very best versions of traders and investors that we can be, and we'd love to have you. Check the link in the description below and sign up. And so I'm gonna go through a couple of other trades that are good illustrations of the strategy that I use and so you can follow those along. This is another trade that I've been in for a little while. I entered this trade a little more than a week ago. This is AXSM. Again, ticker symbol there is AXSM. Okay. I entered this trade on 15 August and it fit 4 of my 5 criteria. There was a level of price support at the 99 area. The price was making higher lows on the weekly and monthly basis. And you can see here, it closed above the 200-day moving average, and price had recently broken a downtrending pattern. So 4 of my 5 criteria allowed me to take up to a 5% entry in the position in the stock. Took about a 4% weight on 15 August because it had not made a higher high yet. And then the very next day, on the next trading day on 18 August, it did close and make a higher high. I moved my position weight up to about 7.5%, 8% weight. I do have only shares here. Looking at the option chain, calls aren't really possible. It's very spready. There's not a lot of liquidity. So this will just be a shares only position. This past Friday at market close, I did take a little bit of profit. I sold about 10% as it hit the 119 area. That's my first profit taking for this position. So if you're interested, make a note of this, follow along, see how it goes. My next 2 levels for taking profit are about the 130 and 139 areas. Okay. Again, this fit my strategy perfectly. This is exactly the kind of thing I look for, hoping for it to make a continued outsized move. And it's worth noting that price action on AXSM was driving it up, even though the market this week was selling off and getting pressure with the Jackson Hole Summit and other bad economic news. And that's what we want to see. When the market's going sideways or down, we want to see strength in the market, because then if things turn around, it should continue to press even higher. So again, I'm up about, so as things stand right now, price sitting at 119. My entry price for AXSM was about 109. So I'm up about 7.5% here. Okay. One other trade. This is one similar to Tesla. I'll post this I'll show this for everyone so you can follow along. I don't know how the trade's going to roll out. I don't know how the trade's going to evolve or how it's going to unfold. So you can follow this in real time based on when you're viewing this video and when this is posted. It's a ticker symbol. This meets my criteria. And essentially this is a trade within a trade. So very similar to AXSM. We have a level of price support. We have higher lows. There's a downtrending pattern, a wedge, if you will. It's above the 200-day moving average. Okay. And it made a higher high. So within this smaller setup here, it fits all 5 of my criteria. What I'm interested in is this higher time frame wedge along the monthly time. This higher monthly time frame pattern is the one that I'm really interested in. I like these setups. I like this position because this essentially gets me into the larger, higher time frame setup with profits in my hand. And then if it breaks this larger setup, I can reload the position and I already have some profits to work with. It makes it much easier to hold position like this long term. This is very similar to what Reddit did, okay, where I was able to take a first entry in the trade, a stage 1 breakout, and then I had profits to work with for the stage 2. So on Friday, I was looking for an entry throughout the day, didn't really see one. So I took some shares at market close. I'm at about a 5% weight with my average price of just over $17, $17.08. Okay. For this one, I wouldn't be actually looking to take any profit until it broke the higher time frame pattern. And then I'd probably move it up to about a 10% position. But again, we have a level of price support, we have higher lows, a higher high above the 200-day moving average, and it broke the pattern. So this fits my 5 entry criteria for my strategy. Now, if my strategy is something you'd like to learn more about, see how I look for these trades, how I find these opportunities like FA or AXSM, or like Reddit, where I made over 400% on the trade, Datadog, which I'm actually still in. I made about 150% on this trade, but on Friday, I actually reloaded because price came back down, found a level of price support. And essentially this is building out into a second stage 2 level trade. If you're interested in how I find these, or perhaps how I found Pepsi over a month before it recovered and broke out, I'll post a screenshot here, then check the link in the description below to join my private trading community. Every week I do daily live streams. I trade live in front of my community, do market analysis, education and training sessions, one-on-one coaching for my community, which is an inclusive and supportive community of traders who are dedicated to helping each other become the best versions of traders and investors they can be, so we can all escape the rat race and live the life that we were meant to live. And that's one that's free, not constrained and trapped to your debts. If that's something you're interested in, you'd like to see more of my trading style and strategy, get those trade alerts and be a part of my community, check the link in the description below and join. We'd love to have you. See you next time.